The narcissist's desperation, a journey through emotional manipulation and power struggles. You once gave them control. You were their mirror. Your emotions, your reactions, were the reflection they depended on. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you let go, that's when they lose their grip. In the beginning, they hold the power. They draw you in with charm, with affection, with promises. But the second they sense you slipping away, whether emotionally, physically, or mentally, the panic sets in. This is when the game begins. At first, they'll switch on the charm, showering you with messages, trying to keep you on the hook. One day, a tender message, the next, an explosion of anger, blame, and accusations. It's a tactic, a trap designed to make you react. They don't care if it's out of love. No, they need you to react, to show them that they still exist in your world, that they still matter to you. Without that reaction, they're nothing. Their ego starts to collapse, and that's when they start to unravel. You remain calm, silent. The more they push, the more you retreat. And that silence is like 1,000 daggers. The narcissist doesn't need your love anymore. They need your validation, your attention. And when they don't get it, the cracks in their facade widen. They lash out. They become chaotic. They are losing control. And they can't stand it. And here's the kicker. They know you're not going to fall for their tricks anymore. They know that their charm, their manipulation, it no longer works. Deep down, they know they've lost you for good. So they try something else, the rage, the quiet fury that builds as they're confronted with the truth. You don't need them anymore. How dare you leave? How dare you live without them? How dare you be strong, independent, and free? To the narcissist, that's not just a betrayal. It's a challenge to their very existence. But here's the thing. They're not just angry because you left. They're furious because you left without good needing to apologize. You didn't beg. You didn't collapse. You were simply gone. And that's something they can't handle. They need to twist the narrative. They need to make themselves the victim, even if that means rewriting history. In their story, you're the villain, the one who abandoned them, the one who was cold, heartless, cruel. But it's all a lie. They're not trying to bring you back. They're trying to save face in front of others, and they'll do whatever it takes to make you the bad guy, because in their mind, they can't lose control. They won't let you have the last word. But here's where it gets even more interesting. You don't bite, you don't fight back, you don't defend yourself. You let them rewrite the narrative because you don't need to explain yourself anymore. Their words may hurt, but they have no power over you. You've already let go, and that's what stings them the most. You aren't a part of their story anymore, and that's excruciating. But the silence doesn't just hurt them. It reveals something deeper. They've never had to face this before. The emptiness. No one to manipulate, no one to control, no one to validate their worth. And that emptiness, it drives them mad. They begin to unravel piece by piece because they've spent their whole lives building their identity on how others see them. And now, there's no one left. They can't fill the void with things, with people, or with fame. The rush of control they once had is gone. And all they're left with is a crushing emptiness, the kind that no validation, no praise, and no new supply can fix. This isn't just heartbreak. It's the realization that their entire existence was built on a lie. And the worst part? They can't even see it. They don't know how to face themselves, so what do? They search for someone new, not out of love, but out of necessity. They need someone to reflect their image. They need someone to believe in the performance they've put on, and when they find this new person, they'll play the same old tricks: whirlwind romance, promises of forever, staged photos of happiness. But deep down, They know the truth. You can never be replaced. Not because they haven't tried, but because the connection you had, the reflection you gave them was real, and no one else will ever see them the way you did. No one else will ever truly understand the cracks they've been hiding because they won't let anyone get that close again. This isn't a story of love lost. It's a story of a narcissist who will never truly know themselves because they relied on you to define them, and when you stepped away, they were left with nothing. The narcissist, with their carefully constructed mask, believed that no one could see through their facade. But you did. You were the one who sensed the depths hidden behind that carefully curated image, and it terrified them. You were patient, you believed, you waited, always hoping that they might grow, that they might evolve beyond their self-destructive patterns. You reached out and touched the most fragile part of them, the part they'd hidden, buried deep within their soul, but secretly longed for someone to see. And when you finally walked away, you took with you the only thing that had ever given them a fleeting glimpse of their real self. In their world, filled with masks and games, you were the only one who ever truly looked beyond the surface. And now they're left with a constant reminder of the cracks they tried so desperately to hide, cracks that you could see clearly. The new people they meet might be easier to control, easier to please, and far less likely to question them. But there's a hollow quality in their relationships that only they feel. Those people don't challenge their illusions. They don't see the cracks. And yet, every glance, every interaction, they are reminded of you, not out of love, but out of an unbearable recognition of the one who once saw them for who they truly were. You were the mirror, and now they're lost without it. They'll check on you, mention you subtly, compare you to the new faces they've tried to replace you with. No one can ever truly take your place. The narcissist knows it deep down, but they'll never admit it. They keep searching, trying to fill the void you left behind, rushing into relationships, repeating the same empty lines, hoping for a different result. But with each attempt, they become more breathless, more desperate. They'll never find what they're looking for because no one, not a single person, will ever make them feel truly seen the way you did. Not anymore. And then the inevitable happens, the collapse of their ego. The frantic search, the endless role-playing, the manipulation, it all falls apart. And when there's no one left to control, no one left to mirror them, they find themselves faced with an existential crisis. Who are they without anyone left to validate their existence? For a narcissist, this isn't just an emotional tantrum. This is a deep, internal unraveling. They've spent their lives surviving based on how others perceive them, not developing their own identity. They've never learned to look within, to face their own truth. And now, with you no longer a part of their narrative, they're left with nothing but a question they can't answer. Who am I? The void grows. The masks that once made them feel invincible, the lover, the victim, the powerhouse, are now useless. Without someone there to praise, to reflect back their power, those masks fall away. They try to maintain appearances, pretending. Everything is fine, putting on a brave face at work, posting cheerful photos, but inside they're empty. Their behavior becomes erratic. Panic attacks become more frequent. And perhaps the most tragic sign of all, they begin to not recognize themselves in the mirror. This isn't just about physical reflection. It's about their identity, their very sense of self. They no longer know who they are, what they stand for, or why they exist. It's a psychological collapse. And the worst part, they can't ask for help. They can't admit that they're broken. They can't admit they're lost, because doing so would require vulnerability, something they've never had the strength to face. The pain they feel now isn't the pain of losing you, it's the pain of the absence you left. The absence of someone who once believed in them, loved them and saw them, even when they couldn't see themselves. They never truly valued your presence, never understood the depth of your love. And now, no matter how much they search, no matter how much they try to replace you, they can't find what you gave them. They can't recreate the depth of connection you once shared. And that's when the brutal truth hits them. It's not that they lost you, it's that they never truly had you in the first place. They never really had your love. They never really had the chance to build something real because they were too busy building an illusion. And that illusion is collapsing piece by piece until they're left with nothing but silence and emptiness. The narcissist finds themselves stuck in a loop they can't escape. They're unable to move forward, unable to heal, and unable to admit that their true loss wasn't the end of a relationship. It was the end of their ability to control, to manipulate, to feed their ego through others. The world that once revolved around their needs, their validation, their illusions, is now silent. And in that silence, they are left with the echoes of their own failure. You, on the other hand, walked away from all of it. With a heavy heart, yes, but one that has learned to let go, to rebuild, to heal. You didn't need them to understand. You didn't need their validation. You didn't need them to apologize. You didn't need any of it because you've learned. The most powerful lesson of all, the real victory is in letting go. And now they may never understand why you left. They may never acknowledge what you offered them. But that's no longer your concern, because you've outgrown the game they once forced you to play. You no longer need to prove your worth through their eyes, nor do you need their recognition to know your value. As you step away from their world, you step into your own. You find peace not in their apology, not in their admission of guilt, but in your own growth. You are the one who walked out of the darkness, scarred yet standing tall. You chose to keep going, and with each step, you left behind not just them, but the chains they had wrapped around your heart. So when you doubt yourself, when you question if you made the right decision, remember this: the narcissist lost you the moment they tried to control you, and you found yourself the moment you stopped seeking their approval. Now, your life is no longer about reacting to them. It's about creating a future that's yours. You are the main character in your story, and that is something they can never take from you.